Hi, this is J. David Davis with the Emmanuel Exploration Society. It's good to have you with me again today, and I want to talk to you about a little subject in our exploration of confirmation bias. I've talked before about how my explorations started, you like that? Started, and how I learned a lot of things, met a lot of people, but I really didn't realize how biased I really was. One of the greatest challenges the explorer encounters in his exploration is, in fact, confirmation bias. There is never a lack of information. The big problem is our tendency to see what we want to confirm, what we already know. We want to find information that will make sure everything we have is right. But the explorer and the exploration requires questioning even our most deeply held assumptions. Now, the confirmation bias is the mind's habit of accepting evidence that supports our belief system, rejecting, ignoring, and explaining away those things that challenge them. It is a subtle trap that we rarely recognize in ourselves. We see it in others. It's easy to see it in them. But the ego has remarkable ability to blind us of our own awareness. This bias appears everywhere. It appears in politics. People often surround themselves with information that reinforces their views and dismissed ideas, and that is counter to them. Scientific researchers, they look to support many times rather than looking and letting the evidence lead where it goes. And primarily, probably the most abused area of confirmation bias is in religion. It's one of the deepest areas where confirmation bias can appear. People of many faiths, many interpreting experiences, events, and ancient writings through the lens of, and I mentioned this before, their Byzantine bifocals. Now, it is strange that everybody can read the Bible and they know what it says. And yet, scholars, preachers, laymen cannot agree on what it means. You can read simple little passages, and yet they'll spend years discussing what it really means. And then, of course, if you don't believe the way I believe, you're a heretic. you missed the boat. Well, a person may seem to be indifferent when examining these things, but in reality, the true explorer, he's not seeking to prove or disprove. Now, I have to confess that I mentioned on tapes previously that in 1973, 74 is where my real serious exploration began. And my exploration was not to disprove anything, and this is really important. I wanted to prove that what I had been taught was in fact true, that it was based on facts and not just faith. Remember, the Bible says faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. So I realized that to have faith, I must have two things. I must have substance and I must have evidence. There ought to be something tangible, and there ought to be should be the evidence of it. It reveals the human tendency to interpret reality through the framework of what their mind has already established. So, see, that's confirmation bias. The ego seeks certainty. The danger is not having beliefs. Beliefs can provide meaning, context, direction, and purpose. The danger is believing we are incapable of being wrong. That's important. We could be wrong. So the ego seeks certainty. The explorer seeks and requires humility. The question is not, how can I prove that I'm right? The deep question is, what would I see if I were wrong? Explorers do not fear examination. They welcome the possibility that their understanding may be incomplete and simply inaccurate. They test their assumptions, listen carefully, remain open to the uncomfortable possibility that reality is larger than their current view. Many times what is omitted is more important than what is admitted. That's the exploration. And our exploration continues. See you next time.